So the first thing I did when it came to this recipe was that I wanted to make some apple cinnamon almond milk. So this is going the extra mile. You don't have to do this. You can just add plain almond milk to this whole mixture. But if you want to get fancy, all you need to do is cut up an apple like so, put some plain almond milk in the pan, and then add some cinnamon sticks and then your apples, or your apple slices, I should say. I used half an apple because all of this is going to decrease in size, especially with the almond milk. I decided to put a little bit extra. It was about a cup. And like I said, it's going to decrease. I added some sugar and I let that sit on low heat while I was working on the rest of the recipe. Next up is you're going to want to make your own oat flour. Now this is super simple. I do this all the time. I will have all the exact measurements linked down below for you guys. But all you're doing is blending rolled oats. I can never say that right. Rolled oats. You want to blend those and have this fine texture. Once when you feel like, all right, it's coming out just like flour and it feels like flour, that's when you know that you are done and you can start to use it in the wet mixture that we're going to be using. And this is how your bananas should look when you're making this recipe. This is the key ingredient. You want them to be nice and black because that is when they are the sweetest. I know they look like they're old and they're ready to be thrown out, but they are not. This is when they taste really good and are perfect for banana bread, banana cupcakes, muffins, banana cake, anything, you know, to do with like sweets and stuff. This is where you can get that syrupy, sugary texture / taste without adding a bunch of sugar to your recipe. And do what I'm doing, cut one end off and then just squeeze it through like toothpaste. It's so much easier and you get less sticky doing it that way. So once you've already placed your 4 bananas in the bowl, you can start to mix away. Now this takes less than a minute because the bananas already came out looking mushed, so it doesn't really require much mixing or work for you, which is great. Once you're done mixing your bananas, you can go ahead and add in the oat flour and mix again. You do not need a machine for this. I want to put that in there. You don't need any mixing machine because even when you add the oat flour, it feels like you didn't add anything because it's still so easy to mix. Once you're done mixing the oat flour in, you can go ahead and add some whole oats in the mixture. So you want to add them without, blending them. You want to add them just like you would if you're making oatmeal. And the last thing that I added to the mixture was 1 egg replacer. This is just going to keep everything intact and make sure everything has like a body to it so nothing comes out soupy, if that makes any sense. You can also add in 1 egg if you are not vegan. And this is another option. You can add in chocolate chips if you would like to. If you're not a chocolate fan, then don't add them. But this was me getting a little fancy. Speaking of fancy, the apple cinnamon almond milk that I was making before is all done, and that simmered down and made about 1/3 of a cup of apple cinnamon flavored milk. And the reason why I did this was so the banana wouldn't overpower these muffins. So it had like a balance of apple, cinnamon, and bananas along with some chocolate chips. And now I'm placing them in my silicone muffin liners. These things are by far the best investment I've ever made. It saves me so much money and time, and I don't even have to spray them. So I'll have these linked down below for you guys. It's so worth the money. But when I'm filling these up, I'm not filling them to the top because I kind of wanted them to be small muffins. You can fill it to the top if you want these big giant muffins to take with you. But I wanted something very small because I don't know, I didn't want it to be too much for someone to eat. And nothing ever goes to waste in this house, so the leftover apples that I had in the pan, I placed on top of some muffins to give it a nice cute garnish, along with me adding some extra chocolate chips that you will see later on. But I did have a lot of apple mixture left, and it definitely added a nice flair to the muffins along with a great taste. So they cooked really well with the apples being on top like that. Just like that, 13 minutes in the oven. Once when they came out, they were amazing. The house smelled amazing, by the way, for making these. You can either wait to eat them and they will get nice and thick, or you can just take a bite while they're nice and warm and it will be a gooey muffin, kind of like a gooey chocolate chip cookie dough. They are so good, great for kids as well because it does have some protein from the bananas in there. So I hope you guys try out this recipe and I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you next Friday.